Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise ye the Lord. YouTube, 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 YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Sorry that I am late. I've been having internet trouble, so please forgive me. Yeah. So what now? Yeah. What window? Oh, okay. It could be a fuse. You just got to get it checked out. Okay. All right, but you got to catch them early in the morning. Well, I don't know if you're gonna do it tomorrow or not because it's supposed to be raining. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know because it's supposed to be raining tomorrow. He might not do anything. I know, but I'm saying he might not do nothing tomorrow since it's raining. That's why I know. That's what I'm saying. You really what? If you had doubts, then why you bought it? Uh huh. Yeah. Yeah, that's what the car's supposed to be. You been checking the mailbox? Okay. I'll call him. But well, the title it depends on DMV how fast Blythewood send it out. No, he go to the but Blackwood in charge of sending all of them out. But the big office in Blythewood. All right. I gotta go do the beauty salon flow. I don't know, probably be late in the evening or tomorrow night. I don't know yet why. Man, look, this is 2025, man. Leave us, man. I said, man, this is 2025, man. I ain't trying to go through all that mess. I ain't trying to hear no bad news in 2025. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Everyone, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I am sorry that I am late. Had so much going on. Had phone call. I got internet problem. I just hope that y'all can forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Big Plane, how are you? How are you? Today, I want to talk about accountability as parents, as children. You know, I know here in my state, when it comes to the law, certain things the law is going to now having parents to be accountable for their kids' actions. And here they talking about like for parents that let's you know they talking about like you got kids that goes out here and get in trouble and I'm doing good. They talking about kids that's coming out here that's going out here getting in trouble. And then you got some parents that goes and hide their kids, don't take their kids to the police department. You know, they know their kids out here doing trouble things, and they not holding their kids accountable for their actions. So now they what they want to do now is hold the parents responsible. But the law in society is all screwed up. You know, I know the Bible tells us if we spoil the child, if we spare the rod, we spoil the child. That's what the word of God says. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was coming up, it was times where, you know, there was child protective service back then. But we had so much fear in us that we were scared to call Department of Social Service. So so now you got this generation coming up now, you know, they protecting their kids. These kids can go out here and these kids can go out here and shoot somebody, rob somebody, stab somebody, rape somebody. They can do all this crime, and then you got the parents that uphold them, like they the good child. And my thing is, why are you upholding your kids when they doing wrong? So what I'm gonna do, if you Melissa, hey Melissa, how are you? You are on mute.
Fine, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you? What is your thought about parents being accountable for their kids' actions?
Okay.
That's what we're talking about today.
I'm kind of lagging behind. It has to load and slow.
Listen, your voice sounds familiar.
Does it?
So what now?
It sounds familiar.
Yup.
Mr. Cornelius.
Oh Lord, have mercy. What are your opinion? These kids out here getting in trouble. And these parents is upholding these kids like you know.
As far as who's accountable when it comes to children and their behavior.
Yes, because now what the law is telling us now is that I think like there was an incident last week, a week before, where there was a shooting and the parents was hiding their kids and not turning them in. So now the parents is getting charged for for not holding their kids accountable.
Mm. I didn't hear about that one. For not turning the kids in. Well, I think accountability starts at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
That start teaching children that they are accountable for their own actions at a young age, and hopefully, as life go along, they are try to not to get into so much trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you have parents, they just as wild as the kids are.
Yeah, because
You
if,
know.
if, if, if you can go back to when we was coming up, you know, like the Bible tells us, if we spoil the child, if we spare the rod, we spoil the child.
Yeah, that's what it say.
You know, so everybody's going always want to, now they want to go off this, you know, we beat out, if our kids get in any trouble and we chastise them, then we get locked up. They call it child abuse now.
Yeah, but one thing I've learned, that rod of correction, that rod is not just beating a child. That's also using the word of God to help bring about correction and discipline.
Yes, yes.
You know, and then when you talk about physically discipline a child, it ain't knocking them all upside the head and all this kind of stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, you have to use discipline as well as restraint and things of this nature in order to properly discipline them.
But these kids these days that's coming into this world these days now, you can you I mean you can take away their little PS5, the PlayStations and all that, take away the cell phone, but sometimes that don't even do any good.
No, it don't. It don't. And well, I had a conversation with my brother one time, and I told him how how the people say, "Do as I say, not as I do." I said,
Yeah.
"With these new kids," I said, "that don't work with these new kids." I said, "You have got to show by an example.
Mm-hmm.
You really got to show by an example." So we want to take everything away from them because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But then we ain't doing what we supposed to be doing. That don't work. They looking at us like, wait a minute, now you doing all this and that. Like I have a brother, he deal with drug addiction, right? But
Mm-hmm.
he'll get mad at, say, like if one of my kids is younger, maybe they'll take something or somebody else's, like in the house while they little. And so he trying to teach them about not taking stuff that don't belong to them. And I said, wait a minute, now you go out and you take stuff all the time that don't belong to you.
Mm-hmm.
at the store. So a lot of these kids, they out here cutting up because, to a wider degree, because they see a bunch of model behavior, whether it's at home, on social media, at the school, wherever, that's doing contrary to what they're supposed to be doing. But however, I don't feel like a parent ought to be held accountable for everything that their child is doing incorrect. I don't feel like
The
that.
only, the only way that the parents are being held accountable, if they know that their kid went out there and shot somebody,
And they try to
then you
cover up
take the
for it and hide
kid.
it.
They try to cover up the crime.
Yeah, yeah,
So, so
yeah,
that's like Leon Lott was saying. We're gonna start holding these parents accountable.
yeah. I don't feel like that should be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Not with that, because children, like you said about that scripture, um, spare the rod, spoil the child. And the
Mm-hmm.
Bible also states foolishness is bound in the heart of the child, but the rod of correction is drive it far from it. So they just gonna do foolish stuff.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just going, it's some things that they just going to do. And parents should not have to take the downfall for what they children, because some of them is just rebellious.
Well, the number one key, the number one key is that I see more. I see some parents are being their kids' friends than being a parent,
Yeah, yeah,
because the Bible tells us that we supposed to raise our kids in the way that that these should go. So when they get old, that they don't depart from it. You got to teach your kids at a young age on how to be respectful, how to you got to teach your kids all the stuff, you
yeah.
know. But right now, these kids coming into this world, these kids don't know how to say yes, ma'am, no, sir. They don't know those respectful words.
Well, you know what? I work in childcare, and I've dealt with some parents that would tell their children, "Oh no, you don't have to tell the teacher, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am." Some of these parents out there teach them how to not be respectable and mannerable to
Hmm.
to others, and others in a authoritative type uh figure in their child's life, and it's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah,
And
because kids figure that if they see their parents do it, it's okay for them to do it.
yeah, yeah, and I'm talking about parents. I've had children in my classes that are like the children of judges and senators, and so it's not like all of them is, oh, you work at child care where it's poor, like poor people, because some centers they more so cater to maybe a area that's impoverished and stuff.
Hmm.
I've had some children who they have come from money, and the teachers, the parents can be just as rude. You don't care for the child all day long. When they come in the room, they don't even speak to the teacher. But what are you teaching that child? How to be rude. And so as they get older, bless you, as they get older, you see they still take on that same type of mentality.
Hmm.
Some of them is just rude. And then you see how the behavior, um even with that behavior issue, I seen where in childcare, the children, some of their behavior is outrageous. And I'm talking about at a young age. So
Hmm.
as they get older, I say, my goodness, I can see why they, carried on like this as a older teenager, because I saw them when they was young. And like you
Hmm.
said, the parents was busy trying to be their friend. You can be friendly to your child without being their friend.
Yeah.
You know, you can do that. Because in the long run, it's not going to benefit anybody. It's going to end up hurting them in the long run.
Yeah. 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 Because I mean, you got. I think it was like I forgot how many. I forgot how many kids. I think it was like three of them that got charged, and all three parents was held accountable because one sent the child out of town.
Mm.
I mean, it was just like these kids, these kids are running wild.
Yeah,
You
well, yeah,
you know, see, there's no more taking kids, to church anymore.
yeah,
And that's the biggest. I think that's the number one key is that they stop taking these kids to church. When we was coming up, mom and dad said, "You going to church on Sunday morning?
yeah,
You going to church?"
yeah, yeah. You're right. Cause
You know, I mean, we had what? When I was coming up, we had Sunday morning. We had Sunday school. We had the morning service. Then we come back, we go eat dinner, and then come back. You got Sunday night service. You got Tuesday night Bible study. Wednesday night, Tuesday night Bible study. Thursday night women's program. Friday night youth program. Man,
yeah, yeah. You're gonna be in it. Yeah, you're gonna be in it.
yeah,
Because if you notice, even the people when we was growing up that still went astray, they still had a little bit more respect for other people than like how they engage in conversations and stuff. Than some of these uh younger people, like they say, you see a child nowadays with their pants hanging down and stuff. You can't even say, "Hey, young man, to pull your pants up." Shucks, they turn around and try to harm you for doing that. But back in the
yeah.
day, if you had children that kind of strayed off, you could kind of a little bit more say stuff to them. But these
Yeah.
ones nowadays, you can't say nothing to them. And the parents, some of them, they just as off as the children, because you try to help their children to make a better decision choice in life. They about eat your head off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Because I mean, you can even see it in the schools where the kids are being disruptible, and then you try to talk with the parents, and the parents going off. Then that's what you're going to expect.
yeah, yeah,
You know, the child acting up in school, and then you call the parent, then the parent come up to the school. Now the parents cussing out the teacher.
yeah. I had I had came across this security officer for the school I graduated in some time ago, and he told
Mm-hmm.
me, I forgot how many people that he said he arrested at the school that year, but it was a whole bunch of parents that he arrested, because what it was, their children were cutting up in school, and when the parents came up to the school, they acted just as crazy as the children did, and
Yeah,
ended up getting themselves arrested.
and it goes back to how they was raised, how the parents was raised.
You right. You right.
You know, you know, what I have learned, what I have seen when like coming up in the projects and stuff like that, in the hood and all that kind of stuff. I see where generations of generations of generations of generations of generations of families that just don't lead the project.
Yeah. And if they don't, they still had that mind. And if they do leave, they still had that mindset.
Hmm.
That mindset of just a poor mindset. But like I told a friend of mine the other day, I said, if you believe in that Bible and you read that Bible and you strive to serve God, it don't matter what kind of background you come from. That Bible will teach you how to treat people. That Bible will help you build. That Bible will help you build character. If that's what you say you base your life upon.
But see, but Melissa, what gets me right? You want to hold the parents. They want to hold the parents responsible when the kid out there done shot somebody, done done did evil stuff out there.
Yeah.
But why you not being why not hold the parents accountable when you got teenage kids out there selling drugs? Why the
Yeah,
parents
you
not responsible? You know your child out there slinging dope, but you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The law is so messed up.
yeah. Um
But
it,
my mama told us, look here, if I ever catch y'all out there selling drugs, I'm turning you into the police. I don't care. Because that's not
I
how I
tell
raised
I tell you what, I seen something on Facebook the other year. It was some teenager, I think it was, had got killed.
you. Uh-huh.
And the past, so they was trying to do basically like a GoFundMe for the child, for the teenager that got killed.
Uh-huh.
And the pastor had showed up in the neighborhood, with a group of people and stuff, and they were rallying around, and they was basically saying, "We ain't giving you no GoFundMe for that because while your child was out there wilding in the streets, making videos about guns and drugs and all kinds of gangs and all kinds of stuff like this, they said you was up there clicking on the picture and stuff and liking it and commenting on it like it was a good thing."
Mm-hmm.
So basically he was saying, don't come asking us for nothing because while your child was out there being a terror, you were co-signing instead of providing them with and that's what happens a lot here, doing all kinds of things, and the parents be caught because they want to be buddies and friends with them and stuff.
I mean, you're right. You're right. You're right. That's just like,
Hold on, let me disconnect from you.
Chris, you said, okay, Chris Atkins, you said sometimes the parents doesn't know.
Y'all
That's
know,
true. But what about the parents that does know?
I was trying to disconnect from the
Because when I was raised up in the projects, I done seen
hello.
kids. I'm here.
Uh-uh. My volume not on.
I seen kids that sold drugs to their parents, so to
Hello.
their aunties. Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, it was connected to my car. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
What were you saying?
I said when I was coming up, I seen where somebody in the comments said that sometimes parents doesn't know, but parents don't know sometimes that their kids out there selling drugs. But we talking about the ones that does know.
Yeah, that does know, and they co-signing because they want to be buddies with the child. They want to fit in. I don't know. Sometimes parents. Oh yeah, my daughter that's a teenager. She said sometimes they want to feel like they the teenager again, along with the child. So
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah, don't
Because
be asking us.
you got some parents that haven't even grown up yet. Y'all don't be scared to come up to the panel. Y'all, if y'all want to come up to the panel and express your opinion, please hit that link in the chat. Please hit that link in the chat if you want to come up and express your opinion. Don't be scared. You don't always got to type in the chat. Just come on up to the panel. You don't have to turn your camera on, but just hit that link. But it's a shame. It's a shame because I seen I think it was a couple of weeks ago, probably a month or so ago, where a kid was on social media playing with a gun, and I guess the father he turned out and seen and saw the video. So the father, what the father did, the father went live too, made a video, went live and everything. And in that video, the father hauled off and slapped the son. And I mean, some people was like down in the father because the way the father did it. But see, when you got an old school parents, you can't. Ain't nowhere in the world you can change the way they discipline their kids.
He did what now? Because my phone, I went in a dead spot. You said that the father did what now?
He slapped. His son was on social media playing with a gun.
Yeah.
And he's the type of parent was like, well, if the way he was showing out that's the way he gonna chastise. So the father went back to social media and showed him that he's the type of father that he's not gonna play with his kids when they out there acting stupid. So he just wound up just slapping the son on social media to let him know that he's nothing to play with.
So I kind of have mixed feelings about that. One, where the child get the gun, and two, the people that was commenting having a problem with him slapping the child on social media. How much ignorant stuff do they sit there and put on social media themselves or engage in? So what is their behavior? Because a lot of people have a lot of stuff. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about what everybody else is doing, but what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing in front of the camera and behind the camera and closed doors?
Yeah, because he's the type of he was one of those strict parents.
Yeah.
It's like us as men. When it comes to men, you got fathers that's not in their kids' life. You got fathers that's not in their kids' life.
Yeah.
Then now you get talked about for not being in your kid's life, and then when you are in your kid's life and you chastise your kid for being wrong, then you still get criticized. So what right? I mean, is it it's kind of
Because we live in a society where you don't want to embarrass people, hurt their feelings, stuff so sensitive, and sometimes people continue on with stuff because they're not embarrassed, they're not put to shame. So what made the child? What is it with that child that made them feel like it was okay to do that? Like
and trying to impress his friends,
with the gun, huh?
trying to impress his friends.
Trying to impress people, but not looking at the fact that how does that make you look as an individual? How does that reflect back on your family? How does these are things that we don't think about. I remember when I was growing up, my mom said, "I don't embarrass you out in front of your friends, and you're not gonna embarrass me." That meant you got to be watching what you doing when you go out. And then another thing I used to tell my own kids, and life is a learning experience. We've all done stuff that we shouldn't have been doing at times. But I tell my kids, I say when you go out away from home, who do you represent? One, you're supposed to be representing yourself. You're supposed to be representing God. You're supposed to be representing your family. So when you step outside of these four walls, people are looking at you as a representation of the God that you say that you claim, that you serve, the family that you say that you're a part of, the church, even if it's the school. Oh yeah, that's the how people they do. Oh yeah, that's the gang that went to. I graduated from Westover up in Fayetteville, and they oh yeah, that's the people that graduated from Westover because they may say this certain group over here they more little bit more ratchet, or they a little bit more uppity, or they a little bit more this. So when you step out from your home, you are a direct representation of whatever it is you claim that you're a part of.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't have a problem with the father per se chastising the child up in front of the camp. I mean, you
No,
want.
because I mean, because the way I mean, Lynn can tell you. Lynn, I mean, he can tell you about how my mama was. My mama was a little short woman, and when that woman talks, she means business.
Yeah, yeah. Boy, I
That
tell you,
woman means business.
that's like I have one son. I have, well, now I have four girls and one boy, right? But my
Uh huh.
son is 23, and he don't be all out in them streets and all this cutting up and carrying on. And I thank God for that. But I remember when I used to say, you know what, I'm gonna have to deal with him right now, cause one day he's gonna get older and he's gonna start trying to, you know, assert his manhood. You know, when men get that teenage, stage and they become into their own and things like this nature.
Like the old people used to say, you smelling yourself.
Smelling yourself. You're getting too big for your britches. And yeah, and so I'm little. I'm short. I'm not even 5 feet. So I said, okay, I see right now. And then dealing with the differences of the father, you know, not in the home and things this nature at one point in time. So he was kind of acting out. And so I had to deal with him a little bit. But I had to I had to kind of be consistent with that because I knew one day he was going to become a young man, and I didn't want him out there just being a pure fool. That don't mean he do everything that he's supposed to be doing, but I'm just not going to help you to be a mess. I'm not going to help you
Mm.
do that. Now, if you choose to go that route, that's not going to be because I didn't try to teach you some things and stuff. But I knew early up that I had to kind of help him out a little bit. Like you said, your mama was a little thing. So when she did so, she meant business. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, because them children they could be very manipulative. They can kind of get you in your emotions sometimes, trying to get you to sway their way when you telling them stuff that they don't like. But hey, like I said, you can be friendly, but that don't mean you have to be their friends.
My mama was never our friend. She'll tell you that in a heartbeat. She used to tell us, I'm not your friend. I'm not your friend.
Okay.
You know, you know, this is, when I used to, even though when I used to have, back in my days when I used to drink and everything, and my mom comes over, I never drunk, I never took a drink in front of my mom.
Yeah.
Even though, even though she knew that that I was drinking, but I never took a drink in front of her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she was like, "Well, this is your house. This is your house. You can do what you want to do in your house. It might be my house, but you're my mom. I still got to show you that respect."
Yeah. Because that stemmed from the respect that she instilled in you when you was younger.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you were younger.
yeah. And then what got me? Back in the days when you was out there in the neighborhood, you was playing, and then you got in trouble. Then one of the neighbors see you get in trouble. The neighbors, chastise you, and then take you home and tell your mama, your daddy what you did, and then you get chastised again. You don't see that no more.
No, you don't see it because people is crazy out here. People out here
Yeah,
crazy. And even like with the school, you know, the, before you used to could kind of see it. You used to kind of see a difference between the children and the students. Shucks, nowadays half the teachers is about like the students. I'm like, Lord, have
yeah.
mercy. The
Man, I
class
done
is
seen
just
some people be. I done heard that some teachers be out in the clubs, and I'm like, what?
yeah, they be out there in the club and almost wearing the club clothes to the schoolhouse.
No, go charge up your phone.
So you just don't. These children, I tell you, they got a tough road nowadays.
Yep, yep, yep. Yep. So I mean, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem when it comes to when these parents out here knowing that these kids out here doing the stupid stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna hold them accountable.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna hold the kid accountable too because for one, let me ask you this. Okay, you saw recently in the news about the girl that got set afire, right? The girl that was in foster care.
Uh-huh.
And teenage girls was, I think it was 15, 16, or 16, 17, something like that. That had bludgeoned her, set her fire, and all this kind of stuff. You saw that in the news.
Yeah, I seen that in the news.
Now, who's held accountable for them kids' actions? For those children that did that? Were the parents held accountable?
No, you didn't. No, they all of them was in Department of Social Service care.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
All
Were they
those
holding
kids,
the
all those girls was in Child Protective Service.
that was going to be my next question then, because when children are turned over to a ward of the state, so to speak, that means the ward of the state is their parents for the most part. So then, is the state held accountable?
The state should be held accountable
Are the state being
because you supposed to they supposed to have close eyes on those kids.
yeah, because the one had done already they were looking for because what she took the monitor off her leg.
Yeah, she took a monitor. No, the monitor went dead. She never charged the monitor back up.
Now ain't that something? So who is held accountable for the actions of those two children? If we hold them parents accountable for their child, because when they become a ward of the state, it's like the state is their parents.
You
You know
can't
what I'm
hold it.
saying?
The state cannot be. The state feel like they can't be held accountable.
There is no difference.
You dealing with the government. Then when you talking about holding them accountable,
There's no
no,
difference.
there ain't no difference. You can't hold them accountable. But
Like
but
like the
but they need to look. That should have been investigated.
yeah, like the one boy recently who was charged with murder, a teenager, and when he got his what is it, no bail or something like that, he crying and falling all over the place and whatnot. But they said he was constantly already in trouble. He already had what was it, some gun charges and they let him out and all this kind of stuff. You know, he's a juvenile. But it's like who's accountable then?
Yeah.
The boy had done already had all kind of gun charges and whatever he had going on, and y'all letting him out here and there. And then when he finally do the ultimate act, now he looking crazy because I mean it's a sad situation. It's just a
I
sad
mean,
situation.
it is a sad situation.
But it's almost like because of the mindset of a lot of these parents, right? I don't know if these kids got a false sense of reality or what. Because like it goes back to a lot of people, they go out here and they do all kinds of stuff and they feel like there's no real accountability. I remember my younger brother, and we were raised in the church. We it wasn't a bunch of nonsense going on in the home. However, me and my brothers, we each took away something a little bit from our home experience, and we all went our different ways. But it's like when he started getting in trouble and everything, um, he eventually told me. He said, "Well, because I never really had no real consequences for my actions, like I just keep doing it." Although he would be locked up for a time period, get out and get locked up. It's like because they feel like they get away with these charges and stuff. Well, I just keep doing it. To now it done become a habit. And and,
Yeah.
and see that's like when you have a two-parent household or one parent with a other parent be in and out. Sometimes that could play on a child for accountability too because they see one parent is always there and another parent they don't have no real accountability um for their family. It's like they
Mhm.
do what they want to do. So you kind of teaching a child to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, they want to do.
There's no more curfews where you had to be in. You know, you got to be in before the street lights come in. You got to be in at 9 o'clock or be at. You know, there's no more curfew.
Yeah, they ain't. But see, if you have one parent that say come in before the street lights, but then you have another parent that's always bending the rules and this and that, and come in when they want to, stumbling in the door. You know, you sending mixed signals to these kids. So that's why I say you can't do as I say, not as I do. These children are looking and seeing what you're doing and what you're saying, and they want to do what you're doing. And that's another thing. These kids, they getting all kind of mixed signals in the household, and of course they're gonna want to go. Okay, of course they're gonna want to go towards the direction where you could do what you want to do, because it's just in people's nature, they kind of do what they want to do. So we got all kind of mixed
Hmm.
signals in the household, you know.
I want. Somebody made a comment says kids were bad back in the days. Kids are bad now. Kids will continue to be bad as long as imperfection exists. That will be the case.
I tell you what, yeah, kids are gonna be bad. Kids, because the Bible says, like I said before, the Bible says foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, right? But the rod of correction will drive it far from it. And mind you, like I was saying before, the rod of correction is not always just beat up and all this kind of stuff. It's also using the word of God to provide discipline, guidance, and correction. And then, like the Bible also says too, do not be deceived. Bad company corrupt good character.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of times we make excuses for people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. We know that people are going to not always do what they're supposed to be, doing. But we're not just going to co-sign foolishness.
Hmm.
No, we're not going to just co-sign foolishness. I remember when
But
we
see,
was
what gets me? But what gets me, Melissa, is that with that comment, yeah, we was bad back then, but there was no kids out there killing people. Hey, Queen OG,
no,
when
it
we was
wasn't.
coming up, you didn't have we didn't. There was no such thing as carrying a gun or doing the stuff that these kids are doing these days. These days.
Yeah, shooting up schools and okay, like I'll say like this, like back in the day, right? It was more so one population of people were more so taught back to their parents than another population. I'm speaking a certain kind of way because I'm in the car and I got my phone on, the car speaker. But
Uh huh.
it was more so one group of people were known for the children to be disrespectful, talk all kind of crazy ways to the parents, and they would pretty much get away with it. Versus the other population of people nowadays, you and nowadays all doing it. The children cussing out the parents cussing out. And
Man, let me tell you
you
something.
did, man. Back in the day, you couldn't even almost breathe incorrectly without
Man, you
getting
have
away
been
with
if
cussing.
you was doing that back in the days, you probably would have been 6 feet under or missing some teeth.
I know you telling the truth. So we're not saying that children. We gonna say children will be children because even like the Bible says, he said, what he say? When I was a child, I spoke and I thought.
No, the Bible says when I was a child, I thought as a child.
Yeah,
But
but when I became
when
a
I
man,
became when I became a man, I put away childish things.
I put away childish things. So we're not talking about man is in you done um, growed up up. Now producing. You have the ability to reproduce. We're talking about a mindset, a maturity, and also the Bible says many of you ought to be teachers by now. But I gotta keep taking you back to elementary. I gotta keep taking you back to the basics of things, because
Yeah.
you keep missing the mark. Like you can never grow up beyond where that you at.
Yeah.
And like I told my kids, I said, what's the difference between being grown and a grown up, right? Because if you think about it, when people say a lot of time, look at them children, they just grown. It has a negative type of a negative aspect to that. A lot of times when you hear somebody say that, you think of children doing things and acting in a manner that they should not. But if you say, oh wow, they act like they grown ups, you think of a person that's making moves, trying to move in a positive direction. So we got to be careful with all this terminology. And then another thing, when my nephew was younger, like 13 or whatever, but the dad was in and out of the home and all kind of this and that or whatever. But whenever he be at home, he would call the son little daddy. Yeah, this is little daddy. Look at he a lady man. He a little pimp. All this kind of stuff. And I'm like, why are you calling him little daddy? You the man you the man in the house, because you're putting this in this little boy head. So whenever you come in from doing what you shouldn't be doing back in the home, he already looking at you sideways. And now as time go along, he's gonna start losing respect for you. And he's gonna think that he runs the mama's house when the daddy is there, and when the daddy is not there. And I see that happens a lot of times too. We won't call, oh yeah, you was a little lady man, oh you was a little player, you a little player. So then when he get older and he have all these behaviors that are not good, then we try to figure out why. Because you done spoke all this stuff into their life at a young age. That's why we have to be careful. I don't care what it is that our children out there doing. You can acknowledge the truth of what they're doing, but begin to speak life into them.
Yeah. That's like when you hear some people come, oh, look Johnny bad, look Johnny bad, look Johnny bad. You keep feeding that them words into him, then guess what? Look, Johnny, that's the only thing Johnny gonna know, because that's the only thing y'all been teaching him, is that he's gonna be bad.
And that's what gets him attention. I know, even working in childcare, they say, children love attention. So when they're small, if they're doing a behavior that you don't necessarily care for, maybe not good, but because you gave it attention, they are still keep trying to do it, because why? Because they're seeking attention from it. So some things we got to learn ignore. Some things we got to learn how to respond to, and then how to respond to those things.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Melissa. Let me ask you a question. What what oh Lord, um when you okay, now you brought the word up, attention. Do you believe do you believe kids, when kids act out, that sometimes that they action, they crying out for help?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes, like I said, children, and even adults. Because okay, we had what stop where? Okay, yeah. Because I we had to take a training dealing with brain development, right?
Hmm.
Brain development and discipline, and you know how like the frontal lobe of a child that deals with processing and reasoning, making good decisions and choices, that's not fully developed until the middle to late 20s. Now if a child has experienced trauma, you could go with trauma or either substance abuse and things of this nature. It could inhibit that brain development and push that on into the early 30s or even beyond that. So sometimes we look at people, we say, God, the world is why in the world they doing that for? Like, what in the world? And sometimes it's because of the brain development. The brain development is not there. They don't.
Yeah.
It's like they can't comprehend what you're talking about because that
Hmm.
portion of the brain that deals with reasoning and good decision making and things this nature, it's been um affected for by whatever reason. So now you truck on into the 30s and maybe in the 40s and stuff. Like, what in the world is going on here? So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
that gave me another perception. And then so now they're operating on that emotional aspect of the brain because that's the part that maybe um was fed more. You know how you see some people they so emotional because you can't operate in that emotional state of the thinking and the decision making thinking simultaneously. You got to get one under control. That's like the Bible say self control, patience, temperance, things of this nature with the fruit of the spirit
Yeah.
to get these things in check. So now that we can think clearly.
Yeah. Because I think, see, my opinion, if a kid out there, let's say a kid go out there and they do something wrong, you know, I think these kids need to be evaluated so you can determine if these kids need to be put somewhere. I don't think these kids need to quit. I don't think that they should quick to lock these kids up because it could be a mental thing.
It could be, and some of it, like I have a friend, she's a licensed clinical social worker, right? And matter of fact, I was talking to her. I think it was either it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday morning, the day before. I was talking to her about some things, and she was saying some of it is just the child. They call it oppositional defiant,
Uh huh.
and some other term, where they just rebellious and defiant, and they need to be disciplined. They need to be disciplined, and that's like I tell my daughter now that a young teenager. I say, look, if you don't learn these things while I say you'll soon be a young adult, and if you don't learn these things now while you're young, you're gonna have a hard time when you get older. If you a messy teenager, you're gonna be a messy adult
Yeah.
because there are certain skill sets that you need. And if you don't learn them now,
Hmm.
you're gonna have a hard road. And that's anybody. That's like when you were younger and say you was a teenager and you saw people just all the time, they just sitting on stoop, sitting on stoop, sitting on stoop. And when you got older, what they were still doing, sitting on the stoop, locked up, dead, like come on now, where's the skill sets? Where's the
Yeah.
skill set? But then now I will say this: parents need to be held accountable for the tools that they put in their child toolbox. Now because that's what I say sometimes. I'm gonna give you some tools to use. I'm gonna give you some tools to use. Now what you do with them tools, that's you.
Yeah.
That like you say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
But now these kids are stuck into what the PS5, the PS2s, or whatever all these games and stuff like that. Most of these games now are more of killing and all this kind of stuff. Man, parents need. Certain things parents do need to be held accountable.
Yeah, certain things they do it. Certain, like for example, me and my kids and their father, right? Say my kids was younger. I didn't buy all that gaming and killing and all this kind of stuff, right? But their dad would. So my son, he would sit up there and play Grand Theft Auto and all this kind of stuff. I mean, he was real young. So at one point in time, when me and their dad separated, I put them games up. But guess what? When he come home, he done went searching and trying to see why, what did I do with the game and system and all. So he done take it all out and get it back down and get the child. Now he playing back with it and everything, and they're young, so that's still model behavior for them.
Yeah.
And a couple with whatever that they got going on. So now you may have a child that's a little bit more aggressive. And then, mind you, they see the other parent coming in the house doing what they want to do. So they figure, I guess this is how you're supposed to act. Do what you want to do.
Yep. 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 That's like that's like trying to tell your kids. That's just like trying to tell your kids not to be a teenage parent to be a teen. Stop. That's like trying to tell your teenage kids not to be a teen mom. But how can you teach your kids not to be a teen mom when you was a teen mom? Because it's gonna be thrown back in your face.
Yeah. Instead of telling them, hey, look, this is the direction I took, and it wasn't easy. It was a hard road for like being truthful. Not saying you have to tell for all your business, every little aspect of your life, but be truthful and honest. And say, hey, that's not a good road to take. For whatever reason.
Yeah. That's another thing that parents keep doing. That I see parents doing. These parents out here putting their kids in their business.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you this. What mine's personally, when mine was younger, I didn't have them in my business, right? Me and their father's business. Now, one thing they will say, as a child get older, a child will begin to see things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just like I used to tell my brother, don't keep sitting here, you get locked up and stuff and want the mama to tell the child, oh, daddy away at work. No, he's not. They ain't got to tell everything about what. Yeah, you know how they be doing that. And she told my son that I was locked up. Well, you was. What, she want to get her mouth in cahoots with a lie because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing? No. Now, I ain't telling her that, she got to tell everything about what you was doing. But guess what? As the child get older, they going to see what you was doing.
Yeah.
It's going to be evident. So basically what you're doing is you're telling on your own self. You can't get mad because, do what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like with my kids, now as my children got older, like going into young adulthood and then I began to tell them certain things. Why? Because I don't want them to be oblivious to life out here. No, we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about at the job. We're going to talk about at the school, at the college. We're going to talk about these things, the good and the bad, so that you won't just be oblivious and ignorant going into, how people can be. Because a lot of times that's how people get caught up too. They be so oblivious and think everybody think the way that they think. Well, I didn't know people actually did that. Yes. Like one of my children, they went and worked at a job that I was working at one time at a newspaper plant. And I kind of told them a couple things. I was indirect with how I told them about working at that place and how to carry and conduct themselves there. How some people were. I didn't tell them that you got to watch out for this lady, that dude, that. No, I just told them how people can be sometimes and how they need to handle themselves when they're at work. So that when things happen, they like, oh, okay, this is what mom was talking about. Oh, okay, now I see. So we just don't want to raise a bunch of people. But that's why I was saying about, putting them in your business. Yeah, parents now they do put them in the business.
That's what I say. There's no accountability nowhere across the board when it comes to these kids and parents.
No, it ain't. that's what I told that time I just had to use real life examples for my own, pull from my own life. I can't talk about somebody else. But like I was sharing with my brother one time, I said, you know what? Accountability, body. Because why? You have these kids, they mamas is taking care of them. But you get up, do what you want to do, hang out all night, drinking and drugging.
I mean, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
That's why
you
That's why I'm hard. That's why I'm hard on my daughter. You know. I mean,
so you just willy nilly and through life.
yeah,
Is she?
yeah. Because that's how even like with my
How
godson.
old is your daughter?
She's 26. No, she's 25. 25. 25.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
You know,
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah,
I be trying to tell her about the company that she
that
keeps. I tell her anything that I see wrong, I'm gonna tell her about it. Then you catch an attitude with me because I'm telling you something that I see that you need to correct. You can't
yeah,
come to me.
because when they get to bumping their head all over the place and looking crazy, who they gonna come back to?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Like one time I told her she had called me for some gas money. And I told her, I said, go, you need to stay out the streets. The next morning she
yeah,
called me. She called me, Dad. I'm like, what? Somebody done broke in my car. I said, where were you was at? Oh, I spent the night over to one of my friends' house. I said, didn't I tell you need to stay out the streets?
okay, okay. That's like I tell my daughter. I say you sit up there, you be giving all these people these rides and all this kind of stuff, ripping and running. I say, but when your car tear up and everything, guess what they not doing? They ain't helping you fix your car. There is no
No.
helping you fix your car. It take money to keep that car going. You got to keep the engine good. You got to keep the tires good. When the brakes go out, cause like something happened with my daughter's car one time. Where's all the people that you was giving the rides at? They ain't helping you fix. They ain't helping you fix nothing.
He got mad at me
So
and I told her I wasn't taking her to the store no more. I went to go she come calling me to come ask to take her to the grocery store. And you laying up in the house with a man, your so-called man, and he couldn't take you to the grocery store.
that's the problem. That's all I'm saying. It's no accountability. It's like that's like my 17-year-old. She don't have to get a job, but she wanted to get a job. Why? Because she wants to be able to buy the things that she wants to get. So we go to the store. Mama, can you get me? No, you got your own money. I'm gonna teach you how to be
But see,
accountable for the things.
that's not what we teaching our kids though. You see what I'm saying? We teaching our when they get these jobs, we got to teach them the responsibility of need and want.
Needs versus wants. That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Just because you want it, don't mean that you need it.
That's right. And I ain't gonna get it for you when you been on splurge all your money on other stuff. I'm not doing.
No, no. You don't spend up all your money. You don't spend up all your money knowing that you need some shoes. And you think I'm gonna buy you some shoes? No. When we was coming up during the summer, we had to go out there and cut grass and rake leaves. That money that we made from cutting grass and raking leaves, that went towards our school clothes. Oh, she done went off. Anybody else want to come up on the panel? Do I have anybody else that's in the chat that would like to come up on the panel? Please click on the link. Click on the link. I'm gonna be on here for about another 20 more minutes, then I'm gonna log off. So if anybody else that want to come up and express their opinion. You must have had a weak signal.
Yeah, coming in the front door, I think it had a bad signal.
Oh.
Yeah. But what you were saying now?
I forgot what I was saying.
I know he's talking about accountability, and we talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah. These kids. I mean, these kids are not being taught the way they need to be taught, and these parents need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
You can't sit up here getting mad at me because I'm trying to tell you something right from wrong. I'm trying to tell you about, if your child out there acting a fool, and I'm sitting here telling you that your kid's acting a fool, but you want to cuss me out.
Yeah, they'll do it now. They'll do it. I remember I was on housing up there in North Carolina and had to get you know how they do the recertification. Well, they had the group that was with the VA, and then they had the veterans, and then they had the other group. That like after they had everybody together and they separated to see their own, the caseworker for the veterans and then the other people. So I'm over there in the line with the veterans, and there's some female up there talking about, yeah, because of my child, I tell them they better be saying this and that. Your dad right there. And then I told them they better say this and that about the school, and they better say this to the teacher, and cussing and carrying on. I'm like, because this was when I was in, working in childcare at this point in time, and I'm like, oh Lord, now this is the very reason why we deal with some of the problems that we have with these kids about these schools, because you got parents like that up here telling these kids how to act like fools at the schoolhouse with their teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And you better, she was using profanity and things of this nature, and you better say this to the teacher and do this, and you better not let them do. And I'm like, so you basically teaching your child to be the one, the child with the behavior issues. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then when the child get older and be in all kinds of troubles, then who's gonna be accountable?
Yeah.
Who's gonna be accountable? But then, especially if you never taught them, positive behavior, all you did was teach them how to be, So it's like it's a bad situation for these kids. Some I'm not gonna say all of them, but for some of them, because some of them they're taught very negative behavior. So I mean, it's like, what else can you expect to a certain degree? For some of them, I ain't saying all of them,
Yeah, I won't say all of them.
Huh?
I wouldn't say all of them.
Yeah. But some of them.
Yeah.
Lynn, did you hear about what'd you say that the child was you shot somebody, used the gun, and the parents was held accountable because they was hiding the kids, right?
Yeah.
You heard about that one? Yeah, the parents was hiding the child from being found that did the crime. Should the parents be held accountable?
See if I can pull that up.
YouTube live video. I was actually trying to listen and see what your video was, but I clicked on that one link. I didn't realize I was clicking on the join in on the conversation. I was like, I saw it on Facebook. I was like, let me click on it to see what he's talking about here.
Let me see. It's I don't know if it's. I gotta find that link.
Where did it take place at?
It was that's okay. That's something different. I'm find it. I'm trying to find the link. Find out
Okay.
on the press conference when he when he when these parents was held when they locked the kids up.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's see. I got it. No. Okay, see this video. But it says here, I'm reading the article. It says Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott said 3 mothers have been charged with various offenses after they helped their children cover up a series of crimes. Brandy Gracie 49, Ashley 42, Leah 32 were charged Monday in connection with several violent, unrelated crimes committed by their children. Lott said during a news press conference. Grace is charged with accessory after the fact of a felony after her son shot a person in the head. Oh my God.
Wow.
Let's see, the other parent was charged. The what now?
So basically the child had already been doing certain criminal acts and the parents had all been covering up the whole time along these strings
Yeah.
of different things.
Yep.
And that's something.
Yep.
Until it got to that point.
One is
That
let's see. One is charged with distributing to the delinquents of a minor after her son was arrested in the shooting that killed a 23-year-old man and critical injured a woman in Miles Bowman Road in late January. Following that shooting, Ricks was charged with obstruction after her son was charged with participating in the murder.
Jesus.
I tell you, let me find out. Let me find, like I told mine. Let me find out you done something wrong. I'm turning you into the police.
Well, you know that this reminds me of something that happened years ago. My kids were little. One of my daughters, she's 25 now. She had a little best friend, and her mother's oldest son, he was a kind of a rough little boy, but the husband, he would be in and out the house, um, on drugs and he was abusive to his wife and all. Just it was a rough environment, at
Mm-hmm.
times. And so the son, he was kind of had some behavioral, little anger issues and things of this nature, but and the oldest boy, because the younger two boys, they was like babies, so to speak. And so then I remember when me and their father had separated, and for a while I wouldn't let my children spend the night over at their dad's house, for a while. Like he could come and see them or whatever. But this one in particular time, I agreed. I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna let my son spend the night with his father. Well, his father had to go to work that weekend, so he took him. I think he had took him with him and was dropping him off at his mom's house or something. But however, soon after he left for work, because he worked at night, somebody had broke into the trailer that he had, kicked the front door down and stole a bunch of stuff out of everything, right? So come to find out, it was the lady that stayed right in that same little area with it. Like we could look over and see her the trailer that she stayed in. That's how close it was. That boy had been going around in the neighborhood and breaking into people's houses and taking the stuff and putting it in the mama's house, because the way that they find out where it was at. I think somebody had said it, think it might have was his, but the TV that was in their dad's house was sitting up in the mama's place with some other stuff that he done been stealing from everywhere. So it's like your kid is out here doing all kinds of stuff. He's a teenager, and you're not, are you questioning, like, where is he getting these things from? Like, where did he get that big old TV from sitting up in my living room? How'd you get this? So I thought about that when you said about the parents covering up for crimes and stuff that these children are doing. Because sometimes I guess sometimes it does happen because maybe someone feel like they're benefiting from things that the children is doing.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can come up with a video so I can show the video. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. Presents. Their screen. Go. Here. Can you see that, Melissa?
Let me see. Yeah. It's kind of small, but I can see it.
News for you if you were watching online. You saw at 4 o'clock, Sheriff Leon Lott held a press conference at Richland County headquarters to talk about the fact that once again, 3 mothers have been charged after their teenage boys were involved in violence.
Hold on.
And now we're getting all the updates. What are you learning tonight?
It said 3 moms.
Erica, tonight you're starting off.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Of youth gun violence and teen gun violence in the area. And he said that's exactly why they started this parental accountability initiative which he says has now arrested a total of 5 parents since the beginning of the year, all of whom he mentioned were mothers. Now, 2 of them, he announced today, are Ashley Lane and Leah, which both of them were charged with helping either hide or transport their sons after their alleged involvement in a fatal shooting on Miles Bowman Road late last month. Deputies say their sons, 2 of them, or 4 of the teen deputies say fired 70 rounds into a car in Richland County, and that shooting left a 23-year-old Hunter Akers dead and critically injured a woman. Sheriff Lott tonight saying this initiative is not intended to keep parents in jail for a long period of time, but rather to send the message that parents need to be held accountable if they help their children avoid justice. Take a look at what he had to say tonight.
It's just a sad day that we've got young people out here who are not in school, not doing anything but just creating havoc out here in our community. Killing people, robbing, stealing, just doing it. It's sad. But parents need to be parents. If you need help, our Youth Services Division is here for us. I will say, since we announced in December what we were doing about holding parents accountable, we've got more calls than ever with our youth services.
Sheriff Lott also said that he got feedback from the community saying that their response has been that this will help decrease the youth and teen gun violence in our area. Back to you in the studio. All right, Shelley, thank you so much. Meanwhile, the sheriff said if you need help with your teenager, you're welcome to call the Richland County Sheriff's Department and they will help you. But also at that press conference, again, just taking place about an hour ago, Sheriff Lott announced that another mother had been charged. What we learned, she's 49-year-old Brandy Grice, and Sheriff Lott said back in December, her boys were out shooting at Christmas blow-ups and accidentally shot a woman in the head with an airsoft gun. They were arrested. They were released. Then, a couple days later, on January 30th, Grice brought her son to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg but would not cooperate with deputies about the investigation to find out who shot her son. They stole a car and hit a woman driving head on. One of the boys got out and ran and had a gun. They found the gun and the boy. Grice has been charged with accessory after the fact of a felony.
That's terrible. I mean, they said 70 rounds in the car.
Yep.
But and that's the thing too. It's like, what is the story behind that? Because sometimes adults get their kids to do stuff because they feel like they won't get charged because they minors. You know, I don't know. That's crazy.
You know, it is crazy. They got out committing crime.
Avoiding a second-year dip for the Washington Commanders doesn't stop.
I mean, it really don't make sense.
That's crazy. But and I tell you nothing.
It really
see, it's another
at all.
It's another population of people who they kids do a lot of stuff too, and they will do all kinds of things to cover them up. Cover up they behaviors and things of this nature, so they won't get charged. I mean,
I ain't cover them no crime.
You know what I'm talking about. Try to cover up all kinds of stuff. So
yep.
I mean, that's just that's a terrible situation right there. But yeah, she do need to be charged in that case. Whose stuff is this over here? That's mine. You put it on your side, or wherever you need to put it. Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, but I don't feel like parents should be held accountable for everything they out here doing.
You see the wolves. He said the ones that cover up or try to
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I said that earlier.
Also tonight, Richland Sheriff Leon Lott hopes a new initiative Down on juvenile crime, but there is a damages caused by their child's actions.
Next week, we're going to file a lawsuit in Lexington County against this mom. And not only is she going to face the criminal charges, she's going to face civil liability also.
Locke says the department will seek damages up to $5,000. Criminal defense attorney Rhodes Bailey says this is a new way to encourage parents to keep a closer eye on their kids.
This is sort of a new approach. You don't typically see law enforcement filing civil suits for the
Hold on. Let me share this one. He filed in a lawsuit.
They said against the parents.
Yeah.
Juvenile crime, but there is a catch. Chris English joins us in studio now with those details. Chris? JR, after a canine deputy was shot by a 13-year-old, Sheriff Lott says he's fed up with violent kids and now wants to hold parents responsible.
The community's sick of it. I'm sick of it. We're all sick of it.
Sheriff Lott didn't mince words today as he announced a new program aimed at cutting down on teen violence. The Parent Accountability Initiative will see parents facing a host of potential charges when their kids commit violent crimes.
Unlawful conduct, attributed delinquency of a minor, obstruction, there's prison, accessory after the fact.
The first parent to face charges under the new initiative is Shamika Williams. Williams is the mother of the 13-year-old who admitted to shooting and killing Canine Boomy on December 23rd. Williams has been charged with accessory after the fact.
What we also found was surveillance pictures of her picking him up about 3 o'clock in that area as he was hiding from us and takes him home.
The sheriff says his department is also employing a new tactic, taking a parent to civil court to sue for damages caused by their child's actions.
Next week, we're going to file a lawsuit in Lexington County against this mom. And not only is she going to face the criminal charges, she's going to face civil liability also.
Lott says the department will seek damages up to $5,000. Criminal defense attorney Rhodes Bailey says this is a new way to encourage parents to keep a closer eye on their kids.
This is sort of a new approach. You don't typically see law enforcement filing civil suits for the commission of crimes. Previously, the only time we've seen parents of children sued civilly in the news recently were things like parents that had a child that committed a school shooting.
Bailey says he understands what the sheriff is trying to do, but he's not sure how it will play out.
The sheriff is a savvy operator, and what he's trying to do is he's trying to create a deterrent. Whether or not this would hold up in court, sort of remains to be seen, because I have not seen law enforcement file a civil action against a parent for their child's crimes before.
And JR, tonight the sheriff says more charges against parents will be coming soon. In studio tonight, Chris English, News 19, WLTX.
All right, Chris, thank you. And tonight, William's son remains in DJJ custody after pleading guilty. He is scheduled to be sentenced sometime next month.
Man, this is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, she need to be. She need to be sued.
Gee.
It's just a bad situation.
Hold on, baby, what? I didn't even see this on the news.
I didn't know all this was. I normally watch Wise 10, but I'm like, I didn't see all this stuff going on in Richmond County.
Let me see something. Man, it's too much. It's too much going on.
More breaking news just into our newsroom. The Richland County Sheriff's Office says they have arrested two parents for the death of their own baby. They are 26-year-old Gladys Moreno and 29-year-old Nelson Rizzo Alvarez. Sheriff Leon Lott says back in October, the parents brought their 2-month-old baby to a hospital with multiple broken bones. The investigation showed that the broken bones were caused by blunt force trauma. Further investigation revealed that Moreno had a previous history with the Department of Social Services for her other child being taken to the hospital, also having broken bones. Moreno and Rizzo Alvarez were arrested today and charged with homicide by child abuse. They are being held at the Richland County Jail. And
But a reminder that if you want to catch us talking to you about the
That's ridiculous.
Jeez. So they already had a history of that going on
Yeah.
with the other child.
Yeah.
Look, we had this one child out of center. He was the sweetest boy, but at times he would have such aggressive type behavior. And come to find out, it was some domestic violence issues going on in the home between the parents, and you know, domestic violence is just not physical. It's emotional, it's verbal, it's mental. Those things fall up under the category of abuse. So the child, when he would come to school, he would be acting out that behavior and taking his frustration and emotions of that situation out, you know, on the people in the class and stuff and the teachers and everything.
Mhm.
So
avoiding a second-year ditch in Washington Commanders doesn't start with
the
teams brings
director and the
weakness,
teacher, you know,
starts
would
with
talk
keeping
with
their strengths.
you know, the parents and everything about what was going on. That's how it kind of came out as far as what was going on a little bit between the parents. So they began to correct, you know, work on striving to correct their behavior with one another, and you know, and in front of the child, you know, better manage themselves in front of him, and we were able to see a positive change on that child's behavior. So a lot of them, they're acting out in certain kind of ways because of the dynamics of their house, you know, their home environment, and they just carrying that stuff until you know, young adulthood and you know, teenage and young adulthood and things of this nature. So parents, I mean, parents got a huge charge on they, you know, on themselves when it comes to their children. You know, I'm
But
referring
see,
to
my
how
thing
we,
is with that. But with that, with that, shouldn't, like you said, that goes back to the Department of Social Service being accountable.
Yeah.
Because if y'all already knew that she's had previous reports about this, why y'all kept the baby in her care?
Yeah, like we said earlier, who is to be charged in that type of situation? Do they have some type of accountability for what they did or didn't do? You already said that the other boy kept coming in, you know, the other child kept coming up there with broken bones and carrying on. So do they have some type of, you know, accountability to that situation?
I wonder how. Hold on. Wait a minute. I don't know. I don't know if they was. Let me see if I can look up something for me. Because I wonder if they was younger people.
They said they was in their 20s. I think like they early, middle 20s. Yeah, I think they said one was like 26 or something like that.
Like, when I be looking for Let me check something out. Let me check something out. See.
That's crazy.
Oh, Lord have mercy. What? Sometimes I have to laugh and keep from crying. I know some things don't supposed to be funny, but sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah, because it's like I can't believe this. How long are you gonna be on?
Let's see. I'll probably be on. We'll see what 5 minutes.
You said to about how long?
But,
It's breaking up.
hello?
You
Why you
said
got
to about
something to
what
do?
time? I'm gonna step in and check
Well,
on that.
I'm gonna jump off and then I'm gonna come back on at 8 o'clock. I mean, after I pick Barbara up.
Okay, you want to come back at 8 o'clock? Okay, I'll try to chime
Yeah.
in then.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay. All righty. I'll see everyone later. Thank y'all for coming. I'm out.
All right, thanks for the invite.
Deuces. All righty.
Okay. Bye bye.